For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the dark times. Before faking Star Wars radio. That's right, we're back for all you fakers with a special Life Day episode of Faking Star Wars Radio, the official podcast of FakingStarWars.net. Thanks for tuning in today. Here's what we have in store for you. We have a duel of the fakes, an unboxing of a brand new Star Wars product, all kinds of fantastic speculation, a poll, some listener mail, and some great surprises, so stay tuned. My name is Storm Duper, and joining me today is my co-host, IG69.
Hello, everybody.
Well, IG, Storm Duper has been a good little boy for this Life Day because Sheev left me a product under my pillow, something I've been waiting for 3 years now. It's very exciting.
One, I doubt that you've been a good little boy. Two, when did Sheev become the Santa Claus of the Star Wars universe? And three, what did you get?
Well, I mean, a good little boy is relative to my behavior, in years past. Two, Sheev has always been our Santa Claus. And three, I got a Sphero BB-8 remote-controlled, app-enabled droid. Ooh. So we're going to do a little unboxing here on the podcast. Some might think this is a better format for video, but we think you'll get a better effect just over the podcast. So it comes in a really nice box. The box is made out of cardboard.
Wow. I've never seen a cardboard box before.
It's very exciting. It has a picture of BB-8 on the box so that you know that inside there's also a BB-8.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. It doesn't really leave a lot of ambiguity about what's in the box. It's sort of that Apple computer style box, it looks like a little bit more expensive cardboard. It kind of glistens a bit. So before you open the box, is there both a BB-8 and nothing in the box? Is this like Schrodinger's droid? Yeah, is the BB-8 head on BB-8 or not at the same time, right?
Yeah, does it come with batteries? We don't know. We don't know.
It does and it doesn't. All right, so when you open up the box, it's nestled in this nice little foam, thing. And the first thing you see is that there's a cord. And so that means that BB-8 definitely needs power. So you take it out, and there's this stand as well that it comes with, this nice little stand. Now, I don't know. I've
like
kind
a recharging outlet.
Yeah, this is like its recharging post, I guess. So it's charging in like that, I guess. So that's cool. It looks good. That's it's obviously made out of cheap plastic, but the colors, look like BB-8. But then the most important part here is BB-8. So it's about the size of a baseball, I guess. And the little head pops off very easily, so you have to be careful. It works, actually. I mean, I have to say, I have taken this out of the box already.
Is it magnetic?
Yes, it connects with magnets, and it's like magic. I mean, it really just clicks right on there, and then there he is. So, I have to confess that I already took him out of the box just to make sure he worked. And it's a lot of fun to play with. Now, the one thing that is worrisome is his little antenna is very thin. And, if you run him under the sofa or under chairs, there's a possibility of his antenna getting too bent. So that was one thing I was concerned about.
So, will the head stay completely upright as it rolls along?
For the most part, it does. It depends on how fast you go. The faster you go, it's harder to control, and then the head kind of sometimes can bob around to the side, like when he's making turns and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, it works. It's a pretty cool little gadget. You can plug it in here and see how we do. He does tricks and stuff. He'll talk to you. He knows basically if how to please you. He's very sensitive to the ways of human droid interaction because he can do these tricks and they just bring delight to your face. So we'll plug them in here and see what we get. Now, are you jealous at all, IG?
No, because I already have a fully functional R2-D2 droid.
Oh,
well, technically,
do you really?
it's a midget that I keep in a trash can. But
right.
you know.
Well, this one I think comes with a little sugar glider inside, or a squirrel, a baby squirrel, and that's how it works. I'm not really sure how it gets fed, though.
Oh, you just have to replace them every so often.
Yeah. Well, it connects with your phone through Bluetooth, which is convenient. The first time I tried to connect him, it didn't work. I had to turn off all the other Bluetooth devices in my house, which was pretty irritating because, I am a fairly technically savvy person, so I had a lot of Bluetooth stuff going. But it works pretty well. So when you open them up and you get them going, then you have to kind of activate it, and that's the part where you run into problems. Every time I try to activate him, I usually have to do it like once or twice, so that's kind of annoying. But he does move his little head around. When you're moving him, he responds to your call. So, it's pretty cool. It works pretty well. I have to say, for the money, it's probably worth it.
So it just runs around and does cute things?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I guess if you turn on a movie, like a Star Wars movie, then he'll watch it with you, and he can react to the movie and things like that too. So yeah, there you have it, BB-8, and they make 3 other droids as well. If you're interested in spending all your money on useless Star Wars toys, there's an R2-D2 one. Let me see which other ones are there. There's a bunch. I think there's who was the one, the dark BB-8 from The Last Jedi?
Oh, I can't remember its designation.
Well, it's really a nice toy. I don't recommend it for children because if children get it, then all the adults around them would feel jealous, and you don't want that.
Yeah, plus they'll probably bust up the head and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, there's a BB-9E. He's the evil Last Jedi one, and then the one that I didn't even know existed was from Return of the Jedi, actually. R2Q5. Do you know who that is?
No.
Yeah, so I guess R2Q5 is like a evil R2 style droid that was on the Death Star 2 in Return of the Jedi.
I do remember seeing like the droid. I didn't know the designation. Now,
Yeah.
what was the other not R2, it's R the other R unit in the Sandcrawler.
R4, is it R4D4?
R4D R4D5 or something like that.
Something like that. The red guy.
Yeah.
The one who blows his top.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I definitely like an exploding version of that droid. Or the conch droids.
Oh, the conch droid would be different, right? Because that would have legs that would have to move, I guess. This one just has a little gerbil ball inside that moves around, I guess. So.
Oh.
But you can see how you could have hours of fun with this. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So, did you get any presents for Sithmas, IG?
Well, as an assassin droid, I celebrate Festivus.
Oh, really? Festivus.
Yes.
Great. So, did you get any Festivus gifts?
Nope, but I did get to wrestle people and air my complaints, so I'm pretty happy.
Excellent. Duel of the Fates. Duel of the Fates. Ho, 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 Merry Sithmas. It looks like you've been a good little faker this year, IG.
Why's that, Storm Duper?
Well, there's a brand new Duel of the Fakes in your stocking.
Oh, Wizard. My favorite faking Star Wars game of all time. Let's play.
Sure thing, but first let me check my stocking. Oh, 1, no, 2, 3, OMG, 4 Rose Tico action figures. Wait, there's more. Heavens to Betsy, 2 fins? Hold on, let me give it a shake. Oh, Constable Zuvio, too. Yippee! Someone out there really loves us, IG.
Or hates us. Thank you, Sith Lords of Yore. Now let's play some Duel of the Fakes.
Sure thing, IG, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. Duel of the Fakes is brought to you by Sheev on the Shelf, the hottest toy of the holiday season. This lifelike doll of Sheev Palpatine will spy on your kids to make sure they're being naughty instead of nice. Little Sheev reports acts of hate and anger to his dark side overlords, who will then reward your family for its evil doing on Sithmas. Look for Sheev on the Shelf wherever quality toys are sold.
It's my go-to every year for the office gift exchange. Absolutely slays. Now let's play.
As you're well aware, IG, I am going to read you 3 Star Wars news stories that should be fake, but there is one real story posing as a fake. It is your job to smoke out the fake and save Sithmas for the billions of fakers around the galaxy. No pressure. Are you ready?
Does a Wampa go in the snow?
All right, well, here we go. To commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Star Wars Holiday Special, a Los Angeles theater is performing a live stage show that presents the true account of the infamous special's hectic production. So that's the first story. I know you are a fan of the Holiday Special, IG.
I actually am.
Yeah. Well, here's the second story that had better be fake. Chewbacca mom. Do you remember the Chewbacca mom?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the video.
Yeah, so she got some great notoriety for just wearing a mask in her car and taking a video of her self laughing at the mask. And I think she even got scholarships for her kids for her video, which is unbelievable.
Is that the story?
No, that's true. That's not fake. That's a real fake. Real fake. Chewbacca mom Candace Payne recently recorded a cover version of a song featured on Christmas in the Stars, the Star Wars Christmas album. The song, originally titled "What Can You Get a Wookiee for Christmas When He Already Owns a Comb," was updated to "What Can You Get a Wookiee Mom for Christmas When She Already Owns a Brush," in order to more accurately represent the gender Candace identifies with.
I still don't think it will beat our Shirawook thong song.
Oh, yeah. Nothing can beat that. And the third story, on a recent appearance on Good Morning America, Mark Hamill revealed he was actually in the running to star in Ron Howard's live-action How the Grinch Stole Christmas. According to Hamill, Howard was very impressed with his cartoon voice work, but Jim Carrey's over-the-top physicality ultimately edged out Hamill for the role. I think that came about 15, 20 years ago. Did you ever see it?
Yes, I did. Yeah. And to be honest, it's my least sort of favorite Grinch movie. I mean, I love the classic, but it wasn't particularly good. I mean, I thought Jim Carrey was wrong for the part. I think Mark Hamill might have done a better job.
Yeah, maybe so. You never know. We could have a reboot, I guess. So, which one do you think is the real story, IG? Will you save Sithmas by guessing the fake correctly, or will you doom us all to a miserable holiday season with the wrong answer? So, just to recap, you've got the live show about the making of the Star Wars holiday specials, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is the Chewbacca mom covering a song from the Star Wars Christmas albums, number 2. And number 3, Mark Hamill was almost the Grinch in Ron Howard's live-action film.
I would love for the Star Wars Holiday Special one to be true, because I'm probably alone in the world, but I really loved that special.
Well, you are always alone in the world, IG.
But I doubt that one's true, simply because not a lot is known.
There's not a lot of information
People who've tried
available.
to research it can't find a lot of information on it. It was really slapped together under the command of dozens of people who never released their names, or so. I don't think so. I think the truth one is that Mark Hamill almost got the Grinch, because his voice work is like, I assume amongst Star Wars fans it's widely known as amazing, that he's done so many different voice acting roles over his career, and into the industry I assume that they would, he would be quite well known. People don't realize that. Not everyone realizes that he's the Joker in a lot of games, and he's been on TV series, and because you don't usually stay to watch the credits. But he is a very famous voice actor. So I think that sounds like a true story, that he could have been the Grinch. But Jim Carrey, was big at the time, so is a better draw for the poster.
Okay, all right. Well, let's do the Monty Hall here, and we're going to go ahead and let you know that number 2 is fake. Okay, so number 2, which is the story about the Chewbacca mom covering the Star Wars Christmas album, that one is fake. So
yeah, I kind of got that anyway.
Yeah, it sounded a little bit too far-fetched.
I suspected that one is fakey fake.
Yeah. I think probably the more likely situation is not that she's recording music, but that she's probably lying in a gutter somewhere overdosing on fentanyl at this point.
Coughing up hairballs.
Yeah. So what'll it be? Will it be number 1 about the production of the play about the making of the holiday special, or the one about Mark Hamill almost being the Grinch?
I'm aware that statistically it's always wiser to alter your choice, but I kind of have an educated guess on this, because I assume that Mark Hamill would apply for a lot of voice work, so I'm going to stay with my answer.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, IG, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but you've doomed us all to a horrible Sithmas, because you have chosen the wrong answer. The story about the holiday special, It May Delight You to Know, actually is the true story.
And that's the true gift of Sithmas.
There you go. Absolutely. So at the Los Angeles Theater, the title of the production is actually called Special. And it presents what writer Andrew Osborne describes. I guess he's the writer. It's a true-ish account of the production of the special. So, true-ish sounds like it could be fake. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the future you see Andrew working here at Faking Star Wars as well. But it runs through January, so, pretty good run there for such a esoteric production. But yeah, so if you're out in the LA area, I guess in the next couple of weeks, you may have a chance to get tickets. I'm guessing that they're going to sell out pretty fast, though.
Well, I think for any Star Wars fan, it would be a fascinating thing. Is it meant to be like a dramatized documentary kind of thing, or?
I don't know. I think my guess is that they just dramatize how they produced it. So.
Just throwing a bunch of ideas at a wall.
Yeah.
A lot of cocaine.
So you're going to be out on the West Coast in a few weeks, so you actually have a chance to get down there and see it. Do you think you'll have time to do that?
I think LA is a bit of a stretch for me, but I would definitely like it if someone made a bootleg video and sent it to us.
Yes. So if you're out there and you are in the LA area and you go to see Special, please illegally record the production and send it to our offices, and we'll do a review of your video. So great. Well, IG, it was a pleasure doing this Duel of the Fakes with you. This is our last episode probably for the 2018 year. So your record, I think, stands at about 3 wins and 7 losses. That's pretty pathetic.
Yes, I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah. It's almost so bad at this point that you may as well just start doing exactly the opposite of what your intuitions tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, intuition has never worked for me.
Great. All right. Well, thanks a lot for playing. Duel of the Fakes. Duel
dream of directing unforgettable films that incite Twitter wars? Would you love to write for the silver screen with the help of a dozen creative executives? Hello, I'm acclaimed filmmaker Ryan Johnson, and I'm inviting you to my masterclass, where I provide step-by-step instructions on how to craft game-changing films like Looper, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, or my soon-to-be-released project, Knives Out. I'll show you how to make movies that half the audience loves, half the audience hates, and half the audience really can't make heads or tails of. You'll get to shadow me as I work with a diverse group of farm-raised, cage-free actors and form strange obsessions over people that look like my high school crushes. What's more, I'll teach you how to flip the script on producers by holding the pages upside down to imbue scenes with greater meaning. You'll learn how to deconstruct a scene, subvert a trope, and conjugate a dolly shot. I promise after watching my masterclass, you will have everything it takes to destroy even the most successful film franchises created by straight white men. I'm Ryan Johnson, and this is my masterclass. Visit masterclass.com/Johnson to sign up today. Use keyword Goober to get a free grilled porg with your order.
All right, IG. Well, we have a new bit that we started in our last episode. Did you listen to the last episode?
Always. I've memorized it by heart. It speaks to me in my dreams.
Well, you weren't on this bit, but I recorded it with Teeb, and it's called the Fake-O-Meter. And are you familiar with how it works?
I am, yes.
Great. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a potential leak or spoiler out there in the Star Wars faking world, and then we'll evaluate it. And how do we evaluate it? Do you remember?
Well, I assume by a stringent metric of fact and educated guess, I guess, you know.
No. We just plug it into the Fake-O-Meter.
Yes.
So this is a fantastic device.
Let the AI do the work.
Proprietary software, you know. So this leak comes to us from fakingstarwars.net. And originally, Darth Zero, who works with product design with Lucasfilm, I guess Zero does posters, merchandising, boxes, all kinds of stuff. He may have done the box on the BB-8 toy that we unboxed today.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we don't know if this is real or not. It could be fake, so take it with a grain of crate salt, okay?
You mean crate snow?
Right, yeah. So, In the first part of this leak, it says that Kylo Ren is seen in most of the images, like the production images for the Episode 9, without his helmet. But his helmet is going to make a return, but it's going to be different. There's like a special troop of red and black stormtroopers whose helmets are his mask.
So it's not just his mask, it's now a uniform piece. He's made a Kylo unit.
Yes, but they actually use the same helmet as he did in The Force Awakens.
All right.
So it's sort of this interesting expansion. And he also has yellow eyes now. So there's that connection with previous Sith Lords. So his costume, apparently very regal, kind of like Snoke, you know, that gold. But in his case, it's going to be silver. It has a lot of silver trimmings, and he looks very mature and imposing, but no facial hair.
Okay. And he's gone full Sith then, so...
Well, it sounds like it, yes. Now, this is the interesting one for me. It's in regard to Rey's lightsaber. As you know, Luke's lightsaber was destroyed in The Last Jedi in that battle between Kylo and Rey. So there's been a lot of speculation. How is Rey going to be a Jedi without a lightsaber? Well, it looks like apparently it's been repaired and modified. And it's like Kylo's. You know how Kylo's lightsaber has sort of that... strange glowing effect, like it looks like a light bulb that's about to go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a hastily done one, like where the energy isn't this energy stream isn't steady. It's more like jagged and unstable.
Yeah, jerky kind of. Yeah. So I guess Rey's is going to be like that as well, and also it will have that claymore design where it has the two tings that come out, or whatever you call them.
Oh, so it's got a guard on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually in that way, they'll be sort of mirroring each other. So,
Well,
And
of course, I've never liked the guard on the lightsabers because it doesn't make any sense. The guard is to stop a sword from sliding up the blade and cutting your hand
right,
when you
the
parry,
crossguard.
right? Where it doesn't make sense with your parrying another lightsaber, it's just going to cut through the guard. Or if you make it super small, so it's actually just the energy part is the guard that would stop a lightsaber. When your hand slides up the hilt, it'll cut off your fingers. So it's useless in either way.
Yeah, they've already committed to that design, right, with Kylo. So I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people have argued for it actually too. I've seen some videos explaining how it would work and why it would work, but she's going to be wearing a bunch of different styles, but it looks more Game of Thrones than actually like Star Wars, I guess. But she looks seriously badass. So.
Oh, I thought she was just topless.
Right. No, we have to wait for that one to come out after the movie. So I guess a couple other things from this leak, BB-8 actually, he's getting a completely new paint job and is going to be green.
Yes.
So this is probably for like camouflage or something. And the interesting thing is that he gets to have a little kind of weird pet robot that actually like peeks out from inside of him, sort of like
all right. So does he have like an
pouch.
even smaller BB-8 inside, like a Russian nesting doll?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and I've heard it's kind of like this triangular cone-shaped thing that might spin around and move around. So all kinds of speculation about that. But so yeah, what do you think about some of these leaks here?
Well, interesting ideas, and of course, it's Abrams back at the helm, so he might have just like he probably had an idea of things he wanted to do in The Force Awakens. And of course, Rian Johnson went in a radically different direction. So I could see him making some changes, or maybe working around Rian Johnson's plan to get back more towards what he wanted to do.
Like restart it, sort of, huh?
Well, I think he planned on Snoke and Kylo being more traditionally Sith, and Rian Johnson made it seem like Kylo wanted to get away from either side of the Force, or rather get rid of the organizations that controlled how one used the Force, and so he'd be more free to explore it on his own terms.
And just go full nihilist, right?
Yeah, just basically you just be a complete selfish individual with no allegiance to any particular organization.
Yes. Sounds like you.
Oh, yes. Well, that's the life of an assassin droid.
What do you think about the leak about Kylo and his henchmen? It talks about how the Knights of Ren, which we finally do meet, are all women, and they all have the same face like Rey, but like some of them are scarred, some of them have whatever, but it's actually they have the same face as her.
That would be weird. That would imply that there's like a bunch of Force clones out there. But the Knights of Ren were some of Luke's ex-students, and it wouldn't make sense that Luke would be training a bunch of Ren clones.
Right. Well, actually, that part of the leak I made up myself. It's actually not part of the article, but I have heard that as well, that the Knights of Ren will be all women. That's what this leak confirms for us. But the part about the faces...
That could be.
Yeah. What if
are the Knights of Ren's the one wearing the helmets, or is that a special like elite unit of stormtroopers?
Remains to be seen. Now, what if the Knights of Ren are like Kylo's harem, sort of like in what was that Australian film? Where they're chasing cars.
Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah. So like Mad Max has that sort of harem. There's like the virgins that like are supposed to get pregnant with the people.
Oh, that's
babies,
That's Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah. So what if Kylo Ren had a harem of Knights of Ren, and he's just busily impregnating them? Like
somehow, I think that Kylo trying to handle a harem would be a disaster on his part.
But I'd pay to see it. All right. Well, let's. let's pump this leak. Ooh, that sounds really bad in light of what we're talking about. Let's pump this leak into the Fake-O-Meter and see what squirts out, shall we?
Well, we've already taken the leak, so let's give it out.
All right, here we go. I'll let you do the honors here. Oh, it's clicking away. Wow, word. So when the message comes out, IG, I'll let you read the answer this time, okay? So, here it goes. I'm so excited, you know? This is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they tuned so hard.
It's done.
Wow. Powered by Steam.
Yeah.
So the result is, and this is scientifically proven by this advanced AI Fake-O-Meter here, utter non-Sith.
Utter non-Sith. Ah, okay. So I guess we can presume that this leak is not very credible, huh?
Maybe bits of it.
The part about BB-8 going green, I think I could handle that.
But the picture shows just his circles are green, so he's white and green instead of white and orange. I think that's just a meaningless change.
Well, possibly. I mean, if it's for camouflage, that would make sense.
If you went kind of all green, like a camo pattern, I could see that. Like they give him a spray paint so he can blend in a forest setting.
Ooh, what if he gets like some chameleon solar cells that he can like be changing, kind of like in The Wizard of Oz, the horse of a different color? He could be the droid of a different color.
But if he's just changing the circles, it's kind of just cosmetic.
Well, that's fine.
It could be a completely different droid, though.
Oh, so he's got like a little buddy, and he's got his little...
like all the R2, R4 units, they all come in different colors.
That's true. Generally, with the droids, when they produce a new hero droid in the film, it's a different design, though.
But this could just be a droid that's kind of in the background or belongs to a random pilot or something like that.
Well, maybe Chewbacca gets a droid.
Oh, that would be nice. He deserves one, honestly, when you think of what he's put up with.
Yeah, he's really the long-suffering soul of the Star Wars saga, you know. I mean,
yeah, like a lifetime was like basically he was stuck with Han for like a life debt, and now he's just like property of whoever runs the Millennium Falcon.
He sacrificed so much and suffered so much, you know, for the people he loves. It's maybe Mel Gibson can come out with a Star Wars standalone story, you know, The Passion of the Wookiee or something.
Or just Lumpy and Mala just sitting at home waiting patiently for his return that never happens.
Yeah.
He made it for that one life day, and then that's it.
Yes. Okay, well, this has been the Fake-O-Meter, and we'll see what happens next week when we get another credible or incredible leak to put into it.
And we're back. Storm Duper.
Hey.
We've received a new poll.
Ooh, excellent. From where?
From the interweb. It's a series of tubes.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Is this a poll like you would put a flag on, or
like a Festivus poll? No, it's this is a poll where we ask people to respond to a question and they have to rate the answers.
How asinine.
I know. I mean, I don't even know why people do this. Anyway, here was the poll question that we put out to the interweb. Which has provided more entertainment during the Disney Star Wars era? A, the new films. B, behind-the-scenes drama. C, Twitter wars. Or D, review bombers.
Well, that's a very interesting poll. I mean, so it's talking about like just entertainment value. I mean, pound for pound.
Entertainment value, yes. Just how do Star Wars fans get their entertainment now? Is it the movies themselves or the reactions to the movies?
I mean, based on what I've seen in my own experience, I mean, if you go for just time spent doing stuff, I would have to go with the third one, the Twitter wars, because it seems like every Star Wars fan that I know spends more time arguing about Star Wars than actually watching it.
Oh, yeah, I would, yeah, by far. I mean, I'm not on Twitter personally, but
yeah. Vicariously,
definitely
though,
the discussions of the social media discussions are a huge part of being a Star Wars fan now, more so than actually watching the movies.
The only time that I actually talk about Star Wars is actually when we are recording the podcast. All others time is spent actually watching the movies. So in my case, I don't really fall into that category. I don't spend any time on Twitter. I find it abhorrent. I just have it so that people can contact me with podcast ideas.
Sure, and sending interesting pictures.
Right. So in my case, I wouldn't say it's true, but for most people, I think that, yeah, Twitter wars definitely would fall into their, most entertainment category.
Well, most people would agree with you.
Really?
By a whopping 43%, Twitter wars is the winner. Followed closely by the new films with 33%. So a lot of people still get entertainment out of watching or rewatching the films.
There's still some sanity left in the galaxy.
Yeah, behind the scenes was 11 and Review Bombers was 13. So I think they're not maybe as significant. Though I personally love watching behind the scenes and deleted footage for the movies. That's something that I really enjoy.
Have you seen the behind-the-scenes deleted footage for the Life Day Star Wars Holiday Special?
No, because that's not out yet.
It's just the clips and the trailer. It's just a bunch of people like kneeling down, sniffing coke off of mirrors.
Well, I mean, what was left from Carrie Fisher's stash? Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much to it. That's really it. Just like, music pumping in the background and Wookiees are dancing.
Just Arthur beating people.
Yeah. It's great.
Oh my God. I know holiday specials are no longer a thing, but I would really like it if they did a new holiday special for Star Wars.
Oh, it'd be beautiful.
Just an excellent. I guess Robot Chicken and Family Guy have both done those, but
riffs on it. Yeah. Now, can you believe that our other co-host Teeb, he has never even seen the holiday special?
That's weird because I know I don't know why, but I saw it on TV.
To watch it.
Like it came out. I remember watching it on TV when I was a kid. And it wasn't the original production, like it was in the 80s that I watched this.
A rebroadcast. Right?
Yeah, a rebroadcast of that. And I was later when I learned more about it, I was like, how did that even happen? Because as far as I know, after the initial release, they buried that as deep as they could. But
it's buried Canadian, next to all those copies of Atari's E.T. game.
Maybe it just got licensed to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation or something, and they just kept playing it in the frozen north, and no one caught on.
No one cared up there in Canada. Blame Canada.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I remember seeing that, and then when I rewatched it years and years later on the internet, I was just like, "Oh my God, it's so bad."
It's amazing.
I remember as a kid I just kind of liked seeing my favorite Star Wars characters.
Well, and like the scenes with Han and Chewie are written so poorly. It's just unbelievable that Harrison Ford even agreed to say the lines.
No, and I don't know, I guess, again, being a kid in the 80s, I wasn't used to, really top quality animation, so I remember loving that part with Boba Fett and them on the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that. The little animated skit was my favorite bit of the whole thing.
Well, that part on its own isn't terrible, actually.
Yeah, it's horrible animation, but, I think back to some of the cartoons I used to watch, and, a lot of them had really... The quality of animation has improved dramatically over the last couple decades few decades.
Well, I think it actually was animated by a Canadian animation studio.
Yeah, it was a Canadian anime. It reminded me of some of the animation I saw in school videos that they would put out to don't do drugs or something like that.
Right.
So that company probably produced more stuff, but yeah.
Very cool.
Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, oh my God.
What do you think about this whole thing on Twitter with fans? I kind of want to do a bit where we go through some of those threads and we actually read them out loud with characters, because it's just sometimes I wonder to myself, have these conversations ever actually happened in person? The things that happen on Twitter.
I doubt it, because most people would get punched for saying the things they say on Twitter in real life.
Yeah. Well,
it gets pretty nasty, and the anonymity sort of. I guess it's not. You're not even really that anonymous anymore. But the fact that you're not like staring someone in the face, and I'm assuming a lot of people are drunk or high when they're writing.
No, impossible.
Doesn't help sort of the dialogue.
I mean, I think my job on Twitter is to try to get as close to the line when somebody would feel like punching me, but then they have enough of that rational moment of pulling back. Do you know what I mean? So, like, as they're actually, throwing the punch, they kind of stop, and then they might pull back and end up punching themselves in the shoulder or something. That's sort of the energy that I go for in terms of
they're thinking it's not worth calling the cops for this.
Yeah. So,
unfortunately, it seems like most of the people I know that frequent the social media bits are trolls.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the point. It's fun. I mean, why wouldn't you like to rile up these people who take something that's supposed to be fun and entertaining too seriously? Like, I mean, that's like when you Absolutely. You push your little sister's buttons, like when she gets annoyed when you like do something with her Barbie dolls. I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Okay, but then we're also looking at like some of the absolute venomous vitriol that comes out. Like how many actors and stuff have pulled their Twitter accounts or whatever just because the abuse got too bad.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about abuse. I mean, that's harassment, right? I mean, I don't agree with any of that. But like, what we do, like the fake news and stuff and faking things, some people get just as mad at us about about that as they would about other people harassing innocent people.
Well, absolutely. Like, in a way, we're trolling here, but we also just enjoy imagining weird Star Wars stuff, and then
for me, it's more fun. It's more fun to fake the news than to speculate on the stuff that we don't know.
Right, and well, that's fine, and I don't. I think, but if we go through an actual Twitter thing, it'll start with someone putting out a little bit of a troll, and then people taking the bait and going way too far with it.
Yeah, interesting poll. All right, well, thanks a lot. Galactic Faking News. Well, IG, it's time for Galactic Faking News.
My favorite time of the week.
Well, this story comes to us from fakingstarwars.net, and the angry and undersexed fans of nerd culture have actually shifted from Marvel to Lucasfilm. After weeks of demanding a trailer for the hotly anticipated follow-up to Avengers Infinity War, you are aware that recently they released the trailer. I think it's called Endgame, the final Infinity War movie. That trailer finally came out. So those nerds don't have any more things to argue about or yell about. So this social media mob of disrespectful neckbeards are now pushing for a Star Wars Episode 9 trailer.
And what Star Wars movie are the Avengers from?
Oh, they're actually from The Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you remember, they were the ones that Anakin killed in the temple, the Jedi temple at the end. He killed like a big bunch of them. They're all, but Master Anakin,
I thought those were younglings, but okay, all right.
Well, they had two names, so.
Okay. Oh, but it was like their club name. They were having an Avengers meeting when Anakin brutally slaughtered them with his lightsaber. It's
kind of like the Masons. Like, you know how the Masons are like a secret organization, but like they could also be members of like other organizations at the same time. So the younglings had their Avengers organization as well. Unfortunately, Anakin wiped them out. So
okay, so like a Jedi youth group.
Yes. So this time around, instead of spewing hate-filled venom at the clouds because a national day of mourning pushed back the release of a film trailer, they have set their sights on the bronze Yoda statue that stands guard outside of Lucasfilm headquarters. Have you seen that statue before, IG?
I've actually been completely unaware of its existence.
Oh, yes.
Because I don't really care what George Lucas puts on his lawn.
I see. It's like a nice little statue. It's a replica of Yoda, and it stands on a tower in the middle of like a water fountain.
Okay. Well, I could see how that would incite rage and hatred in people.
So this one of the protesters, lead protester, Devin O'Toole of Redmond, Washington, said, Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy must heed our warning. If they don't release the trailer for Episode 9 by Christmas Eve, we will wake up on December 25th, and they will have coal in their stockings, and their Yoda statue will be ablaze. So...
Oh, so they're threatening violence on a bronze statue.
Yeah, Christmas violence.
Wow.
So.
Well, that's in the spirit of the holiday.
Yeah. It's understandable that they would get so upset and want to deface private property because they don't have a 2-minute trailer for a movie that's not coming out for another year.
And why not? Like target a Yoda statue on a fountain?
That's right. So according to the Lucasfilm Story Group intern, Trina Alejandra Garcia-Smith, she says, we get dozens of threats like this, every day. You should see Pablo Hidalgo's DM box on Twitter. We print out tweets and DMs like this and hang them on the walls of our cubicles and then throw darts at them. O'Toole just happens to be the loudest of the bunch. Once again, we're not worried. Que lloren más. So, it sounds like Lucasfilm is kind of trying to brush this off as not a real story, but I think that they should probably take them seriously. This sort of thing can get out of hand, and it may end up being that instead of Episode 9 next year, we're actually going to have to watch the news stories of people pulling the charred remains of Lucasfilm animators out of the studio.
Well, I'm assuming that would make Star Wars fans happy.
Well, based on their attitude, I think you're probably right. Although we here on the podcast do not advocate any kind of violence of any sort against the Yoda statues or any other buildings for that matter. So, I mean, why can't they just go to the Yoda statue and like moon it or something? That would be a little bit more. They'd probably get more attention that way anyway, and it's not criminal.
It's on private property.
Well, they could moon it from afar. They could just moon it from the
gate.
comfort of their own bedroom.
Oh my
that,
God.
Bronze Yoda statue.
Honestly, just wait for the trailer. For God's sake, when it comes out, I mean, we're going to spend probably 6 months talking about a 1.5-minute trailer before the next trailer comes. Think about it. For all of the movies that have come out since Force Awakens, the trailer comes out, we spend endless time speculating about it. Then the movie comes out, we're all wrong. Or sometimes right.
Do you think it'll be before Christmas or before the New Year this time around?
They tend to like a Christmassy, probably I'd say New Year's, it's
Really?
a good time for them to release it.
I think they're going to wait. I don't think Star Wars buzz is doing very well right now, and I think they're going to wait and reset and see how the new year goes and maybe come around Super Bowl time with the first trailer drop.
Weren't all these fans going to boycott Episode 9 anyway?
Oh, yeah, they're not going. They just want to make it as miserable for everyone else, too.
Yeah, so they don't want to see the film, but they definitely want to see the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. So they can whine about it on Twitter, of course.
Absolutely.
So. Galactic Taking News.
This Life Day, join us at the Barry Kowalski Memorial Culture Hall on Coruscant for the Love of Sand extravaganza featuring the 3 Tuscan tenors, Chirugthar Pavarotti, Rugnaknar Domingo, and the other guy. There will be a bantha petting zoo out front for the kids, and 3 lucky guests will be enslaved. Galactic Faking News says the show is a fantastical display of sights and sounds. Anakin S. of the Mustafar Times says, I hate sand and sand people. Jason Ferguson of the Galactic Daily says, "Help, I've been shot. Oh God, it hurts. Ah!" Order your tickets today for a chance to win a trip for 4 to the Sarlacc pit.
Well, IG, in the spirit of Sithmas and Life Day, here we are, gathered around the Force tree, and there's some gifts underneath the Force tree.
Well, Star Wars is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, especially on Twitter. Are you aware that there are several moments in the Star Wars saga where characters give each other gifts?
Sure. I mean, I love when Jabba gives Princess Leia that costume.
Oh, absolutely. The bikini costume. My favorite gift he ever gave. So what we've done is we sort of compiled a list of some of the gifts that characters give each other, and let's discuss them a little bit. You've got the list in front of you. What's number 1?
It says, Anakin gifts Padme a Japor snippet necklace.
Ooh, a Japor snippet. Do you remember what that was?
I honestly don't. So I don't really remember what the material is or anything about the necklace.
It looked sort of like a walnut. I think it was made of wood, though, actually, and it had this sort of box with these slashy lines and little symbols, and Anakin gave it to Padme in The Phantom Menace for her to remember him by.
Yes. So, and then, of course, it shows up again in Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, in her coffin, she actually wears it in the coffin. So that actually leads me to speculate. This Japor snippet apparently had powers to bring good luck. And so, the wood that he carved it out of, I guess, has some sort of force-sensitive material in it or something. Thinking about, like, Egypt and grave robbers who rob the graves of, pharaohs who have a lot of wealth, I could foresee something like that also happening in Episode 9. Like, maybe it's Tasu Leech, maybe it's like the Kanji Club gang or the Guavian Death Crew, and they raid the graves and, dig up Padme's, brittle old bones and then find the Japor snippet.
Of course, except it looks like something a child made. Because It was something a child made. Also, I think its power isn't luck. I think it's more that it makes someone overlook what an annoying
It's like a drug, sort of like a roofie.
Yeah, it mind controls someone into loving a person despite their horrible, horrible flaws and lack of charisma.
So it's roofie for romance is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Anakin gifts Padme poetry in front of the fireplace. I wish I could just wish away my feelings. Will you please have sex with me?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best begging for sex poetry I've ever seen in a film. Just complete desperation. Like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Darth Shakespeare.
Like the legion of fans desperate to have the prequels mean something in their lives even though they were terrible.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do you know why the prequels hate sand?
No.
Cuz sand has grit.
Because sand has grit.
Grit. Right? And that was something like the prequels weren't gritty like the original series. Okay. If I have to explain it, it's not that great.
Okay. That was okay. Yeah. I guess, I'd never heard the sort of criticism specifically that the prequels lacked grit, but I would definitely agree that they did lack that.
All right. So number 3, Sheev gives Anakin the Vader suit.
So yeah, I mean, did you think the suit design made sense? I mean, I thought that it made little sense to me that Sheev would show up on Mustafar, grab his burned, nearly dismembered apprentice, and pop him in a suit that fit perfectly and worked perfectly in a matter of minutes. I mean, it was almost like he had the suit in the wings for such an eventuality.
Well, the entire 3 movies was building to putting a man in a suit. That was the plan all along.
But a lot of fans have said that no, it was a design suit right there on the spot, customized right then. But I don't think they would have had time to do that.
Well, the Wikipedia article says it was like it was based off a like already existent technology. They kind of took this prototype and put it all together. Though it wasn't horribly, comfortable or anything like that. Like Vader really didn't like the suit, but
could he get a wedgie in that Vader suit?
I don't believe so, because I don't believe he had much left down there to wedge.
Oh, right. I suppose that's true. He lost his butt cheeks. Obi-Wan cut off his butt cheeks, I think.
Well, they burned off.
Oh, yeah.
However, the suit comes with two important upgrades. One, for Palpatine, it gives his apprentice a weakness to Force lightning, because the suit will shut down and Vader will die. So no challenge from his apprentice. He's not going to get murdered like he did to his master. And two, the James Earl Jones voice modulator, which dramatically improved Anakin's dialogue.
Yeah, not only his volume and his voice tone, but also his articulation, and his vowels all of a sudden had a bit more of a Southern flavor instead of that Canadian accent.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you agree that if someone gave you the option, you would swap your voice for James Earl Jones?
In a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, me too.
Number 4 is when Luke gives C-3PO an oil bath on Tatooine.
Yes, and actually, this is a funny thing, is Anakin Skywalker, as he was building C-3PO, gave him a gift voucher for one free oil bath on Tatooine, which came in handy many decades later when he returned and redeemed it with Luke.
Oh, wow. So it was sort of like a Groupon. Yeah,
but it was weird that Luke looked at the name Anakin Skywalker and he was Luke Skywalker and didn't realize that his own father had built that droid and given him that gift voucher.
Very odd, very odd. Yeah. Maybe he was just so overwhelmed by the fact that he was finally able to fire up his oil bath.
Yeah, well, I mean, we always look for an excuse to use the oil bath.
There you go.
And the next one, Obi-Wan gives Luke his daddy's lightsaber.
Ooh, this is a big one. This is kind of the iconic moment of the first reel, at least, of A New Hope. At least for me, I think.
Well, what I really love about that lightsaber is it's treated like some sort of holy relic.
Yeah,
like
Excalibur.
This is your father's, and then it's yours, and then it goes to Rey. And what a wonderful lightsaber it is, so important to the series.
Yeah, it's like Excalibur.
But like literally what it was used for just before Luke got it, like obviously, before like Obi-Wan stuffed it in a chest for 20 years. Like it had been used to murder children, and actually just before that to cut the hand off a Jedi Master. And save the Dark Lord of the Sith. Then it was used to fight Obi-Wan. Like what a wonderful artifact to bring and pass on to future generations. Like it needs a name like Youngling Slayer or something like that.
Right. The Trail of the Tears that lightsaber it's just amazing how many horrible things it's been associated with.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad it's broken.
Right. Well,
yeah, that lightsaber needs to go.
Yeah, it's a cursed object, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't do Luke much good. I mean, he gets his hand chopped off with it, and I mean, no good. Get rid of it.
Yeah. So number 6 is when Leia gifts Luke the gift of incest.
The game the whole family can play.
That's right. As you know, there were several scenes that were even cut from Empire where they kiss for much longer and more passionately even. So that was a part of the story from the beginning, was that Luke and Leia were going to get it on, but then I guess they, redid it and had to take out those naughty bits. Although there are a few kisses still.
Luke, Leia, and Han had a huge love triangle going on, but they decided kind of by the end of making Empire to cut the Luke and Leia bit out.
I'm glad they cut that because, I would not have wanted to see the porn parody of that menage a trois.
Oh, I'm sure there's already a few in existence.
I wouldn't know. I would have no idea about that. You might, but I would not.
Oh, no, of course not. All right, the next one is Boba Fett gifts Jabba Carbonite Han Solo.
Oh, yes, Carbonite. You know, I always liked that scene, but I thought that it could have been improved if we had sort of seen people in Carbonite beforehand. I mean, they sort of just add it in there as something that happens, but there's not really a sense that this is something that people do to each other in the galaxy.
No, well, in fact, but the point is something people don't do, because Carbonite's used to transport volatile gases that they mine on the gas giants.
So wait, now, I mean, if that's the case...
They tested it on Han so that Vader could use it on Luke. If it didn't work, he wasn't going to use it on Luke.
So if it's to freeze volatile gases, why didn't they have Han eat several Chipotle burritos before they froze him?
I think they had him do that. It was a cut scene in the dinner scene with him and Vader and
Boba Fett and Lando.
Yeah, and all the guys. Except that just after that he was tortured, and then
right.
And so I'm sure he was plenty gaseous.
Well, I mean, I guess pinto beans were served at that little gala event there with Vader. So
as is traditional in a pre-torture dinner.
Huh. Well, I mean, this does make sense, I guess. I mean, now that I think about it, I mean, Bespin, Cloud City, floating in the clouds. I mean, that's what you'd expect. Warm air rises, after all. And I guess, I mean, I never thought about it, but there must just be legions and legions of creatures and people being fed beans on the planet's surface, creating the gas that they then harvest and freeze in carbonite.
That makes sense to me. All right.
Well, number 8 is when Lor Santeca gifts Poe his miracle ear. This is
yes, the secret hearing device that is a USB.
Right, the USB that gets stuffed inside BB-8, who, by the way, has a lot of different items that he can carry about.
Well, sure, he was designed as a slot machine.
Right.
And then we have Rose gifts herself a kiss on Finn.
Ooh, stealing kisses.
I think also she gifted herself like a collision with his speeder.
Yeah. That kiss to me, it was very bizarre. I mean, they kissed with the background of the First Order blowing up the gate to attack the meager remnants of the Resistance.
But that's how they're going to win.
Right. It wasn't very romantic, though.
No, she was barely conscious, but luckily they both managed to run back to the base and are just fine.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
I was thinking about it. If you watch that scene, those ski bikes or whatever they're called, with the little monorails, monoskis, I guess, they are like flying at 150, 200 miles an hour for 10 minutes at the First Order. Mm-hmm. And then they crash, and then 30 seconds later, Finn is dragging Rose into the gate. It's how did they get back so quickly?
He can run really fast.
It must be like a superpower that we haven't seen yet, because it's just now wait a minute, how did that happen?
Oh, and they and all of the troops that were literally 10 feet away from them completely ignored them. Right.
Well, they were worried about the Last Jedi, about Luke and Kylo, right? So.
Well, yeah, I don't know what they were worried about, honestly.
Yeah, it's just a dumb little part of that scene that nobody has really taken up with. I like that scene in general. I like the salt. For me, the salt looked like salt. Practical effects there, and I like the red. Everything going red. It really looked cool.
But I didn't really have a problem with the location, the planet, the base. Everything looked great, visually fine. Sloppy. I'd say that whole scene was very sloppily done.
Right. Well, that's the part that's so.
Yeah.
And our last one here on the list of gifts the characters give each other in Star Wars movies, Bor Gullet. You remember Bor Gullet from Rogue One?
Oh,
gifts
yes.
Body Rook some sweet, sweet lovin'.
Oh, yes. Some hot tentacle action there.
Yeah, my personal favorite scene in Rogue One, actually, is when Bor Gullet, covers Body Rook with his slimy tentacles and sucks out his life force.
Yeah, that didn't really make sense because that was supposed to either like drive him insane or kill him, and yet
Lies!
Didn't really.
Deception!
Right, I don't know. It seemed a bit like they did that to another guy, and the guy became like, a vegetable, and
the unfortunate
Bodhi was just fine.
Side effect is that one tends to lose one's mind.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it also didn't seem to help them determine whether or not Bodhi was telling the truth.
No, it didn't. Yeah, they just found that little. They watched the video, and that was basically it, right?
Yeah, I think that was probably something in the original cut of the movie, that it was a far more extended scene, and then when they reshot a bunch of it, they made it much shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they cut out the whole. That whole bit, like Forrest Whitaker's character. Sorry, what was his name again?
Saw Gerrera.
Yes, Saw Gerrera. Like who's like, if you watch the Clone Wars and stuff like that, is I mean not the movie, the animated series, is a pretty cool character. They kind of have it. They kind of just write him straight out of the movie immediately, like where I think he was meant to be a bigger part, or maybe even one of the guys that goes on the mission to get the plans. But
yeah,
oh well.
He didn't have a very it's very unceremonious, how he died.
Yeah. And stupid, because he could have easily gotten off the planet.
I think the problem, though, is that if he had gotten off, then there wouldn't have been any room for dramatic tension when they were discussing what to do about the looming, problems with the Empire. Because then Saw Gerrera could have just been like, "No, it's me. It's true. Everything she's saying is real." So they had to kill him. Like, there really wasn't a choice there.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue One was a fun movie, but it got pretty nonsensical at certain points.
Rogue Dumb, I think, is a better title. But
yeah, I know a lot of people like this movie. I liked it when I watched it, in the sense that I like the individual scenes, but I thought too rushed and lack of character development.
I was happy to have another Star Wars movie at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's kind of like a Michael Bay Star Wars movie.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we've never really talked much about Rogue One on this podcast. I don't know why. I mean, we're now, by the way, this is now a full year of Faking Star Wars Radio. We started right before kind of The Last Jedi came out last year, and this is our 15th episode. So we sort of started right at the end, when Rogue One had already come out and had its day. So maybe we should do a retrospective and go back and discuss it sometime.
Yeah, because I think the first two episodes, we did talk about Force Awakens and Rogue One in preparation for The Last Jedi, but it was, we might want to talk about some more of the things we liked or disliked from those films.
Specifically, I think, yeah. Great. Yeah. All right. What's under your Force tree, IG? Any presents you'd like to give me this year?
Well, I've just picked up this new neckbeard trimmer for you. I think it'll come in quite handy.
Fantastic. Well, coincidentally, I have a pizza bib that I would like to give you for all your hard work on the podcast the last year or so.
Oh, thank you very much.
Happy Sithmas.
Happy Life Day.
Faking Star Wars listener mail.
Well, it's that time again, Storm Duper. That music can only mean it is time for listener mail.
Oh, I thought it was time to extol the virtues of one of our listeners who happens to have a penis.
Well, that's every day. But today, our listener mail comes from Greywalker, and his question is, why is the color of Force Ghosts blue?
Oh, I know the answer to this one. It's easy. Because that's the only beverage available in the Force realm is Bantha Blue Milk.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Donald Trump, he only eats carrots, so he's orange. It's the same thing with Force Ghosts.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Did you have another theory?
Well, I thought since, you're immaterial as a Force Ghost, you might have blue things.
Blue things?
It's a PG. It's a PG show. Stormtrooper.
Blue
I'm not
stuff.
saying more.
Blue genitalia.
Blue orbs.
Blue Death Stars hanging from your legs. Anyway.
Well, I assume because it's all done on a blue screen. No, that wouldn't make any sense.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that's your answer. It's the Bantha Blue Milk, the only beverage that Force Ghost can drink. So. And we have another listener mail today. Actually, we got another message here. Just here as we were recording, it came in on the Twitter. This one comes from Dr. Flapjack. Ooh, that makes me hungry. Dr. Flapjack writes, "What was the best Star Wars related holiday gift you have ever received? Mine was from my grandfather when he was a child. He bought me the original trilogy on VHS, and we watched all 3 movies together on Boxing Day."
Wow, that's actually pretty cool. Do you still have those on VHS?
You know, I never got them on VHS, like the official versions, because what we did was we would rent them from the Blockbuster or video store, and then we would just dub them onto another tape using a second VCR. So I actually just had pirated copies. You stole them. I stole them, yes. Happily so, as well, as a child.
I think like the only Star Wars gift I ever got for Christmas was 2 Star Wars action figures one of my aunts sent to me.
Oh, is that right? Was it a tradition in your family to watch Star Wars on Boxing Day?
It was not. However, Star Wars was always on TV during that season. So I frequently watched Star Wars around Christmas time.
I think my favorite Star Wars gift was probably when I received the Rancor monster.
Oh my God, that would have been so cool.
Yeah, at the time, I mean, it was like this towering gift that was like the largest toy that I owned. And I remember that we made a statue with Rancor and with all of my other Star Wars figures kind of hanging off of him like almost like a tree. And we managed to get it balanced just right so we could have Star Wars guys on the left arm, He-Man hanging on the right. It was really cool.
That sounds like a good tradition.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we'll bust it out again this year, so... But, lots of Star Wars gifts. I mean, this year, of course, my BB-8s, which was a gift to myself for being such a great podcaster. And I'm looking forward to, what's going to happen with the new movie. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of interesting toys available, so.
Did you get to see any toys available from The Last Jedi? Because I have not.
Not too many. I mean... You'll recall that I moved internationally over the last year, and so I haven't been scoping out too many of the retail spaces. In the last few weeks, looking through, I've seen hardly any Last Jedi Star Wars toys. Most of them are throwback things to the original trilogy or the prequels in the stores now. And then there's like that Black series, which are for the real high rollers. There's just not much available for The Last Jedi. Sad but true. Yeah.
Well, there's a Comic-Con coming near me, so I'm hoping that I will be able to go there and check out some of the amazing gift ideas that I can snag.
Oh, that'd be good to get a report from the con, as a correspondent. We can get you a press pass, I'm sure.
Oh, that would actually be fabulous. Yeah, would love that.
Great. Well, we look forward to hearing your report from that con in the coming weeks, IG.
Well, if I can go, the timing is tight.
Now, I guess we should tell our fans that you're probably not going to be on the podcast for a few weeks. Now, why is that?
Well, I'm going back home to visit the family, so I'll be gone for 3 weeks. And then when I get back home, I might be off to Vietnam for another couple after that. So,
boy, you have a lot of assassin duties. Now, you're going back to visit your family. In what order are you going to assassinate them?
Oh, from tallest to shortest.
Okay. Take out the big dogs first, so then you have no problem taking out the small ones. That's a good protocol of any good assassin droid. So, All right. Well, we wish you well, and all luck to you in the new year as well. Thanks for being a wonderful co-host over the last year of what has actually gone up the charts now. We know we're up to several thousand downloads and subscribers for each episode. And actually, we heard specifically from Apple that we crashed one of their servers when we released the last episode. So be patient. The technology is coming along to meet the demand here. Share with your friends and subscribe on the podcast. So
Storm Duper, that was actually be crashed into one of their servers.
Oh, right. I forgot. Yeah. See, I'm learning the lingo myself too. So
Low Market.
Yes, hi. My name is Herbert. I'm calling in regard to, I'm searching for a very unusual type of meat. Do you specialize in unusual meats?
What kind of meat?
It's actually called mynock, M-Y-N-O-C-K. It's a type of bird, flying species.
No, we don't have that.
Do you know where I might be able to order something like that? I'm having a big Life Day barbecue at my house for Life Day, and that's a center stage on the menu. I've called at least 10 other places trying to find it.
No, I don't know where to find it. Yeah.
Have you ever tried it before? I know that there's different kinds from different places.
No, I haven't tried.
Okay. Are you located on the corner of Cactus Road down there? Do you mind if I would just come in to take a look? What other kinds of exotic meats do you carry, sir?
We only have just some common meat like pork, beef, goat, quail, and turkey. That's it.
Would I be able to take those and make them into a mynock, shaped like a mynock?
I don't know, sir. Yeah.
Okay. This is, once again, this is Herbert calling for Faking Star Wars Radio, so thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, IG, it's sad but true. Our Life Day episode has come to a close. How do you feel about that?
Bah humbug, Storm Duper.
Oh. Well, tell the listeners where they can find us.
You can follow Faking Star Wars on Twitter and Instagram at Faking Star Wars, and on Facebook at facebook.com/realfakingstarwars.
If you have a question for us on Twitter, please use the hashtag FSW Radio, and we'll read it next week. You can also get Faking Star Wars t-shirts and other fantastic gear on that's T-E-E, tpublic.com/user/Faking Star Wars, or you can find that on our website, fakingstarwars.net. And you can also follow me on Twitter at DuperStorm.
And of course, don't follow me at all.
You can follow also Faking Star Wars Radio at FSW Radio on Twitter and Instagram as well. If you love what you hear and want to support us, go to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Faking Star Wars, and sign up to become a patron. You not only support Fakers financially to keep making the content you love, but you'll get a reward. Join us for as little as $1 a month. Be like Darth Taxis, who is joined at the Fake Jedi Knight tier.
Have you written us a review yet? If not, please consider giving us a 5-star review on iTunes or your podcast platform of choice. If you write a funny review, we may read it on an upcoming episode.
As always, stay tuned to fakingstarwars.net for a quality Star Wars comedy, parody, and satire, and thanks to you and all of our followers for listening. Of course, may the foe be with you. See you next time.